Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Let's open up. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi wa salama tasliman. Alhamdulillahi wa kafa. Wa salamu ala ibadihi alladhina istafa. Amma ba'd. In the name, the most gracious, the most merciful, I seek refuge in Allah from the rejected shaitan. May Allah bless our master, Sayyidina Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family, companions, and give them peace. All praise is due to Allah, for he is sufficient for us. Peace be upon his slaves, whom he has chosen. As to what follows, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone, for tuning in. I see Khalifa is on deck, first on deck, mashallah. Inshallah, those who are watching via YouTube and I Have Your Deen Show, I extend the greetings of salams to you as well. I extend my greetings to my co-host, Imam Naim Abdullah, as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so good to have you here.
Wa alaikum salam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sister. Alhamdulillah. You know, I've been watching you for a little while there, you know. I'm kind of feeling you. You mind if I slide in your DM right quick?
You're a mess. Go ahead.
Oh, good. I can slide in your DM. All right, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Glad to be here. Alhamdulillah. You know, it's 11:35 our time. You know, Gambia time. Alhamdulillah. And I see you all in my office again. See some stuff looking out of place too. Yeah,
I
that's what I'm
gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that. Nothing that's out of place. Nothing out of place. Wa alaikum salam, Talabi Katu, Brother Malik, Brother Abdul, Sister Fatima. Welcome.
Wa alaikum salam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, y'all. Alhamdulillah, inshallah, do us a favor. If you're watching this, share it on your channel. We're streaming live on YouTube as well. All of you that are watching live on YouTube, hit that like button and subscribe. And if y'all are, those of you who are watching on Facebook, if you could multitask, mosey on over to our YouTube channel as well and hit that like button.
You done froze up on me, Habibi. Can y'all hear me? Well, that's just him. Wa alaikum salam Talabi Katu. I see that he froze. I just want to make sure I didn't freeze this time, because you know my stuff was janky last week. Tell him he's frozen. Oh, there you go.
You know my Wi-Fi. You know, here at the house, it's I don't know. It be pop locking. You know how you pop lock it. Sometimes it be good, and then it periodically stops. Then it starts again, and sometimes it stopped for a long time. So I just went to my mobile data right quick. Inshallah, you can get it started. Inshallah, I'm gonna try to go back to my Wi-Fi.
Okay, inshallah. If you hadn't already seen our topic for this evening, like we announce every week, and we have every week rather, we have a theme for that week so that we try to stay on topic instead of just pulling, topics out the air. This week, the first Thursday of the month is a time that we speak about Africa, more specifically Gambia and anything subjects surrounding thereof. So this week, we are going to be talking about, the topic is for this evening, is creating real bonds of family, brotherhood, commerce between Black Americans and Black Africans. And so I just want to make it clear, on this show, we are not politically correct. We're respectful, but we're not politically correct. So on other platforms, you may find people there more refined, or they watch what they say. They're very particular about what they say. And that's for a reason, because they're trying to appease to a certain audience. On this platform, we are appeasing to a certain audience, those who think like us. So there's a certain way that we talk and how we interact and such, and in a respectful manner. But I want to bring this out because anytime I've noticed, and it's not just with our people, I'm talking about Black people, anytime the word Black is mentioned specifically, it's a problem. It's a problem. It's always a problem. And there's always some excuse why you got to say only Black, why you can't include this and that and the other. The reasons for that is because we feel a need that we need to address Black people. That's why, point blank. You got platforms for every other nationality, every culture. And when they have their name of their culture or their ethnicity or anything, nobody got a problem with that. Chinese, such and such. Bangladeshi, such and such. This, such and such. That, such and such. Nobody come and complain. Nobody. But when we say Black, why we got to talk about Black? Because we want to. that's what we want to talk about. Everything is not for everybody. There's a platform for everybody. So you fit in where you fit in. We're not saying, you can't be involved. That's not what we're saying. So if you have that impression, then you are mistaken, and you need to rethink that, take back that thinking and listen and pay attention to all the indications. Reason why we mention Black is because as Black people, as a Black woman, as a Black man, we notice that if we don't speak up, we're just going to be swept under the rugs. Our issues, everything. If we don't speak up for ourselves, no one else is going to do it for us. So that's why we're here, doing this here, to let others know that we are here. We're here for you. We feel you. We understand you. That's all. It's not to cause any division. It's all love. We all Muslims. It's all love. But during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, he didn't have a problem with colors or dividing the people up amongst those who he think would be more, will get through to their people. So why is it a problem with us here today? So we got to think back, look at history, study it, because nothing has changed. And when we deviate from that, that's where we fall into problems. Because when if you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it. So if you don't know your history, how things went down in the past, during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, beforehand, you're bound to repeat that. Even recent American history. If you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it. And that's what's going on. We are bound to repeat the mistakes that those have come before us. And we trying to educate, try enlighten, inspire, so that we don't fall into those same mistakes. So that's all. I just wanted to put that out there. That was on my heart. Mashallah. So today, you wanted to go jump in, my brother?
No, I did a live last night, sort of kind of speaking about the same thing in the context of, the Islamic rules and protocols with regards to what we call in Arabic inkar, or objecting to something or having a problem with something. Because a lot of Muslims, you know, as you said, black Muslims even, have a problem with this term black. And they try to cloak it in Islamic reasons. But the real subconscious reason that a lot of them don't want to acknowledge is the fact that, you know, we have this self-hatred gene. And so a lot of times we try to use religion as an escape hatch to, you know, soothe, our trauma. And we say things like, I ain't no color, don't refer to me as no color. I know, but we Muslims, and your Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam referred to people as colors. So how can you have a problem with something that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam didn't have a problem with? So but alhamdulillah. So it's good that we mention that. We are not ashamed, not apologetic about it. And so it is what it is. Alhamdulillah. You continue, Habib.
So this week, as I stated, we're talking about creating real bonds of family, brotherhood, commerce between Black Americans and Black Africans. The Imam, my co-host, did a poll on his page to see what suggestions y'all had on what we will talk about. And so we've summarized it down to these. These are not exhaustive of the things that we'll be speaking about on today. We have other weeks, inshallah. Allah give us permission to address those issues. We will, inshallah, address them then. So we felt like this will be enough for us to work with tonight, and we would solicit or welcome any input on this subject. So.
That's right. Especially those of you who commented on my earlier thread on Facebook. This will be a good time to chime in now. I don't have my laptop open in front of me, so I'm working off of my phone now. So it'll be kind of like cumbersome if I was to go in and do all that stuff. But alhamdulillah. As most of you know, I'm in the Gambia right now, and obviously you in America. Real quick, did they lock down Pittsburgh yet? It seemed like they slowly shutting down the whole country.
Yes, they got their little curfew thing, but I'm still operating like we did the first time, so I don't really see any difference. It's not really major, but on yesterday, I believe they done cut down the time for the quarantine from 14 to 10. So what's up with that?
Alhamdulillah, we got Anissa in the building, but we kind of like hermits anyway. So when they put, restrictions and, limits on numbers and all that kind of stuff, it really didn't alter my pattern at all. I was just good business as usual. I really don't like eating out, so that stuff. I hate shopping. I hate going in the stores. Pandemic or no pandemic, I hate it. So, just all the type of stuff that's really restricted, I like being at home. I like being in the masjid. I dread going any other place. So, alhamdulillah.
Wa alaikum salam to Sister Anissa. Good to see you, alhamdulillah. And Brother Farouk, thank you for joining us this evening, alhamdulillah.
A lot of people on that thread,
I'm about to pull it up. I'm about to pull it up, so I'm going to go back through that so that we can address those issues. Okay.
Okay. I think I want to jump into it by addressing at least two people asked this question. I know one of them was Imam Lukman Ahmed, and he said he wanted to know if Africans on the continent are as interested as us in connecting with us as we are with them. And my quick answer is yes, but my long answer is, if you look at the average black person in America, just general, all of us, the average black person in America ain't think about no Africa, right? I mean, if you look at it, it's only, I mean, if you look at black people, right, as a whole, you really only got like 2 concentrated pockets of people that's seriously thinking and talking about Africa: the so-called conscious community and the African American Muslim community. So, but the vast majority of everybody else ain't really thinking about no Africa or anything else. That's my opinion. So I say yes, but with that caveat, with that, understanding. So numerically, I'm not saying that out of all the Africans on the continent that I've come across, 85% of them is trying to, no, just like 85% of us in America ain't even thinking about, them here in Africa, just like a whole bunch of them ain't thinking about us in America. And I think we fail to understand and appreciate the fact that the same entity, the same group of people, the same social engineers, the same colonizers, the same imperialists, the same oppressors, the same white supremacists that brainwashed us over there, brainwash our people over here. So a lot of us in America, we have a negative opinion about Africans, and a lot of them over here have negative opinions about African Americans. Why? Many reasons. Number one, I always say this. Like, people always ask me, do Africans know our history in America? Slavery, or how come they ain't come get us? Most of them don't know our history. Most of us don't know our history. So if we don't know our own history, how do we expect them to know our history, right? And so it's usually people that's, not the norm, people that's, not in a box, that are aware of us and our situation. So I always like to, because like in the conscious community, you have a lot of people that claim to be Pan-Africanists. And Pan-Africanists, basically in a nutshell, they or we try to unite, or we see ourselves as brothers with every other black person on the continent and off the continent, or in the diaspora, right? And so a lot of people ask, are Africans Pan-Africanists? And I answer that question the same way I answered the previous question. Are most African Americans Pan-Africanists? No. It's only those little pockets of people who are conscious that are even remotely thinking about the other. And so it's the same way over here. Most of them are trying to survive and live, from day to day, just like we are. And the more and more I think about it, and the more and more I experience Africa, there's so many correlations between just about any hood in USA in the African continent. I mean, there's so many different parallels. It's just amazing. Like, the average dude in the hood ain't conscious, but there are conscious people in the hood. You understand? Alhamdulillah. Good, Habibi.
Wa alaikum salam to barakatuh, Sister Amatullah, Sister Nabila, Brother Farouk. Alhamdulillah. Welcome, Brother Hassan. Thank you for joining us. So
Hassan
that's,
Ali.
yeah,
Hassan Ali been
alhamdulillah.
treating me bad lately.
How he been treating you bad lately?
I ain't even gonna go into it.
Oh, mashallah. Now, you addressed that issue well. Do they want, talking about the Africans, want to have anything to do with us and vice versa? It's not even about wanting to be, want to deal with each other. It's just that if you want to be whole, we've been cut off, right? So you have those that don't, they like, I have no connection with Africa. My history starts here in America, right? So they have no desire to establish any connections with those in Africa, right? They said this is my history and that's it, right? But we know that our history doesn't start here. So you actually cut yourself off. So in order to not repeat, like I was saying before, not to repeat the mistakes that we've made in the past, you need to go connect. Even if it is how can I say it? You don't have to connect with every single person. You just want to be able to connect, see how they think, how they live, how they do things, just so you can know for yourself where you came from or possibly came from. Because a lot of us, we don't know what tribes we came from or what country we came from. Some of us, we've taken those ancestry.com, those DNA kit thingies, whatever, to see if we're connected. And those are not, 100%. But we try to find a way to connect ourselves so we can think, because you do not just operate just off of nothing. There's something in your DNA spiritually that's embedded in you that you can't explain, because you've been cut off from the very thing that is in you. So that should be a motivation for you to connect. And sometimes you got to be the initiator. Now, this is not for everybody, okay? It's not for everybody to do. What you about to say, Habibi?
Something that I forgot to say earlier before you started speaking is we also have to be aware of immigration policies. Like back in the days, like in the 1920s and stuff like that. And, when they let people like Stokely Carmichael and Marcus Garvey over here, they don't want that type of Caribbean in America. I'm saying here as if I'm in America. I'm in Africa right now, right? But you know what I mean, right? Right? And so, you notice, for example, the Europeans that come here, they can just basically just come, right? But most of the African countries, man, this dude blowing the horn, man, at 12 a.m. Come on, man. And he's still blowing
You in the hood. You in the hood.
See,
Now next
another
is gonna
example.
be the dogs barking. Look, next gonna be them dogs barking.
See, that's another correlation. Africa hood, right? Same thing. No care and concern about people trying to go to sleep or nothing. Honk, honk, 12 o'clock in the morning, right? It's the blood on. Anyway, what was I saying? So, American and European immigration policy, right? When it comes to a lot of countries, especially Africans, right? They have a quota of how many they let in. And a lot of times, their selection process is real vague, right? And so they have like a unwritten screening process about the type of Africans that they let over here. And
they got them dogs.
You heard it. You hear that, right? So,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's my jitney. Nah, Abdul Mokman, he's still in Pittsburgh. Abdullah. Right? So like, and we know, like, for example, our son-in-law, right? He was on the list to come, whatever. It was no standardization process. They didn't know how, who, what, when, and where. They just get a random email, show up there within 48 hours, whatever. Like there's no process, there's no order, there's no do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, and then after you fulfill all the prerequisites, then after X amount of days, no, there's no organization. It's just we either let you come or we don't, and we're not telling you the process, you know. And so that's how it is for a lot of most of these African countries. They kind of like screening who they let in and who they let out and stuff like, I mean, who they let in and stuff like that. And so we have to take that into account when we interact with our African brothers and sisters who are in America. That's extremely important. And also you have to know that internet in Africa is more expensive than it is in America. A lot of y'all right now, y'all watching on YouTube, Facebook, streaming, you don't have a care or concern about how many megabytes you're using. But over here, it's an issue. Because you're paying for it. It's worse than back in America, you know, when we used to say, call me after 9 o'clock when the minutes is free, right? It's worse than that here. It's so bad that, you know, you got to learn game when you come here. So like if I'm not using my Wi-Fi at the house, right? I put my phone on airplane mode because I don't want no apps running in the background eating up my megabytes. I wake up in the morning, I try to call y'all on WhatsApp and I ain't got no minutes, right? So you put it on airplane mode to make sure no data come in and out, right? And these little different things, you know, you get put up on game. Like, I didn't even realize that a lot of videos on YouTube you can download, right? I learned that just now being here. Why? Because, you know, streaming is a lot. So, right? So, for example, I'm still, you know, watching, for example, Imam Amin's post-Fajr reflections, right? So I said I'm a day behind. Why? I'm not watching it live. I'm not eating up all my megabytes, right? So I download it. And they give you an option where you can download, right? You know, you can use the option that gives you the poorest video quality, right? And like Imam, I mean, I ain't trying to stare at him or nothing like that. So I don't care how he look, right? so I'm trying to hear what he trying to say. So I just I'm not trying to say you ugly, Imam. I mean, but you know, I don't really care about looking at you all like that. But look, I just need to hear you, right? So I use the poorest video quality because it's less megabytes, because it tells you. It gives you download options and how much megabytes it's going to use as opposed to streaming. And so when you here on the continent, you thinking about all that stuff. And so just like all of us is on some form of social media and YouTube, a lot of people on the continent ain't on it like that. So they not accessing as much information as we are. Right, because it's going to cost. It's an issue for them, you know. So we need to think about it. Don't think that everything that you're watching and seeing that they're watching and seeing. They can watch it and see it, but it's going to cost. And if you add up what they pay and what we pay on our monthly cell phone plans, or what we pay for Verizon or Comcast or what have you, you know, it's they paying way more than us, and they don't have money like we do.
I like to interject on that. Now, they do get information through the media of television. So the stuff that they stream on television is a lot of stuff that are stereotype, messages. So if you see anything about, Black people in America, it's not going to be more like it's going to be a positive type of thing. They watch movies just like we watch movies over here. So just imagine you over there watching Boys in the Hood, right? Menaces to society. All of us are not from the West Coast, right? But if you watch that, we all on the West Coast. That's everybody. We talk like that, we act like that, we gangbang like that, but you don't have any frame of reference. So you watch that, and then your people over there say, okay, when you go over there, don't hang around them. So it don't matter who you are. Y'all all the same. And so
that's very important.
Right. And you know that the government controls the media. If they want to brainwash, if they want to unconsciously, subtly try to, like, the word slips my mind, but they try to influence your thinking. That's what you do. You do it through visual, through the television. And then it's with their people too. They have, how you have, I don't know where it's in India, they have Bollywood. They got a Bollywood version of Africa. They got their own little BCD.
Yeah, Nigeria. They have Nollywood.
Nollywood. So.
And in Ghana, they have their own version of Nollywood or Bollywood or Hollywood and stuff like that.
Right. So you looking at these things, and a lot of times it's about gossip. It's like what they call it, real reality TV type subjects, right? And so they're looking at this. And so they come over here. And guess what? They interact with us in that way or manner that we are those same people. And so it starts with communication, building relationships, and letting people know, hey, I'm not the same. Like I have expressed. I spoke to someone from the motherland that lived here. She had her own thinking about us, and I had my own thinking about them. And we just, we realized how wrong we were. You can't judge everyone the same way. So it does start with communication and building bridges, like our brother El Hajj Malik Shabazz, Rahimullah, he encouraged us to build bridges, because you're stronger in numbers, right? Ain't but so much you can do by yourself, but in numbers, you're able to do more. You have more buying power. You're able to build, infrastructures by numbers with the people that think the way that you do. You understand? And it's good to have people that think differently from you, so you have different perspectives on things. Because not one person know everything. Go ahead.
And also, when a lot of them, like say for example, a lot of Africans, when they get to America and they have children, they have that talk with them. Like you said, they're watching Boys in the Hood too, but they don't have the history and backdrop and understand all the nuances like we do. We know everybody ain't like Boys in the Hood or Menace to Society or any other TV show that comes out. We know everybody ain't like the Cosby Show. That ain't even on no more, right? But we know that people are different, but they only know what they see. So a lot of them, and if they're honest with you, especially if they were young children, when they got to America, people had that talk with them. Listen, you are coming here to get education, and you coming here to get money. Don't interact with those, those black people. I mean, the African Americans. You know, we don't want you to be no gangbanger. We don't want you to do all that, you know, blah, 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 blah. A lot of them are having that conversation based upon the information that they're seeing and some of their family members that live in America. And it's deep because now you got a lot of people from America coming here to Africa and they ain't helping the situation. They're not helping it. You know, the conscious people, you know, in the black community, right? Talking about even the non-Muslims, right? A lot of them are just talking conscious on the internet, on YouTube, but they ain't coming here. Then you got the Negroes that's listening to them, and they coming here. Oh, and they embarrassing all of us. I mean, they doing nigger stuff here. And it's so sad.
SubhanAllah. Yes, that was what I was trying to say, Sister Imari. Subliminal messages, right? So anytime that you see, even here in America, you know, if you watch TV, these ads that they push out, I don't care what kind of product, a lot of pharmaceutical products they like to push out, and look how deceiving they are in those message. The most important information that you need to hear is blah, 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 right? They say it real fast, right? Symptoms are, or, you know, the after effects are blah, 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 death, blah, 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 death, right? Everything is death, right? It ain't funny, but this is a great product. This is a great pill. It's going to change your life, but you may die from it.
It's going to cure one sickness and give you 10 more.
10 more.
But it's excellent.
Exactly.
Malik asked, can you use your cell phone over there? Every country is different. I would advise you, this is what I do. Like my phones that I use in America, they're unlocked, right? I don't buy new phones and get on plans no more. I buy my phone straight up and they're unlocked. And so when I come here in Gambia, I just take out my American SIM card and put in my Gambian SIM card. Now, when I got here, right? Like I was about to look for my phone, but I'm using it, right? When I got here, my service provider said, "Hey, welcome to Gambia. You know, you got two 2G free 2G service, right? You know, most of us on 4G, right? Free 2G service, you know, text, whatever, plus 25 cents a minute for any call, right? As if that's good, 25 cents a minute. And what they don't tell you is there's a whole bunch of secret fees and stuff on the back end. I remember the first time I came here, right? I think I made like one phone call and maybe got some text messages. Then I get back to America and the next bill come. I forgot how many extra $100 it was. I'm like, what? I didn't even use it. What's going on here? Right? So I make sure when I come here, matter of fact, yeah, I make sure when I come here, right? I told my wife when I was coming this time, get my SIM card before I get there. Right? You get it before I get there, right? Because I don't want, you know, no. So my advice, if you don't want to, you know, use your phone, but you know, get it unlocked. And so when you come here, just take out your SIM card and use the SIM card for here, or just get a whole nother phone and use that phone. Wa alaikum salam, Isa.
Sister, if I say your name wrong, please forgive me. But it isn't personal to us. Latve. Any group of people with a strong identity are passing through new environments, but they know where they are from and the fact that they are not here to pick up anything extra, only what they need. I respect that. I think Hassan Ali was talking about the woke. You talking about the African, the woke, what you call them? The conscious community. Yeah, they are heavily influenced by European-based mentality. I don't care how woke they are. That is true.
That is 100% true, because a lot of them, they get a lot of their information from the Afrocentrics that was heavy on the scene a couple of decades ago, and a lot of them, you know, they have a strong anti-Islamic bent, and they really Eurocentric with Afrocentric clothing. And so, for one, they look at Islam as something alien to the African continent, right? And so, and that's part of the problem with a lot of them that are coming here. When they come here and they come to these different countries, most of them are majority Muslim countries, the countries that a lot of Americans are going to, right? Like Gambia is like 96% Muslim. I say more than that, right? 96% Muslim. And so when a lot of these African Americans who are not Muslim come here and they see that, okay, all these people are Muslim, they look at them the same way they look at us African Americans, like, oh man, y'all traded one slave master for the next. Y'all left Christianity and joined Islam, two different slave masters that oppressed our people. And so they get over here like, oh man, how come you left your natural African religion and then took on that Arab slave religion, the Arabs enslaved you, right? And so they look at them like, it's amazing. They come back here and they be like, man, y'all don't even know how to be African. I know more about being African than y'all, and I'm from America. That's the type of mentality they have. Don't know these people have been Muslims for a thousand years, literally. Don't know that how Islam reached them, right? As Sheikh Ahmadou Baba said from Timbuktu, he said that Black people have embraced Islam without being conquered by anyone, right? That's a Black scholar saying that, and that's true. You know, people. You know, when every time they talk about any type of Arab violation against the African people, they always take out the context and try to make it the same as like the European slave trade, and completely different. And the context is like way off. But that's another subject.
So let me see. Khalifa said, American imperialism and its agenda to spread its global culture is done through television and music. What is being done specifically for the Muslim community by our ulama to address this issue? Many indigenous cultures have Islam embedded within it, but with the youth gravitating towards this American global culture is a way to undermine the core morals and culture of Islam. What you have to say about that?
Read the first question, not the whole thing.
What is being done specifically for the Muslim community by our ulama to address this issue?
Talk about in America over here.
Well, American imperialism and its agenda spread its global culture. I guess here in America. Is that what you're addressing, brother? Be specific. While I get
more clarity, while we wait for more clarity from him, I want to read what Farouk said. He said, Imam Naim Abdullah, though I'm not formally part of your Jamaat, is there a way for me and or others to plug in with BAU to do business in Ghana? Importing, exporting, wholesale. I'm not in Ghana. I'm in Gambia. So, and you got to understand also, being that he mentioned Ghana, I want to mention something because, you know, Ghana is like a hot spot for a lot of Americans to go to. because they just had that whole tourism promotion last year, the year of return. They gave people citizenship and everything like that, you know. And a lot of us are going to countries like Ghana because, you know, they used to be colonized by the British, so their official language is English. And a lot of us coming from Western nations, or Western governments, Western English speaking governments. I know, like me, I'm not trying to learn no other colonial language. Personally, me, you know, I already know English. I ain't trying to learn French, right? Right, right. So a lot of people with that same mindset as me, they try, you know, they go into places like Ghana and Gambia, right? But Ghana is more developed than Gambia. And so, like, you know, because a lot of us, believe it or not, a lot of people still think Africa is a country and not a continent. There's over 50 countries in Africa, right? And because of the maps we look at, we think Africa is a lot smaller than it is. 5 United States can fit in Africa. So that map, the proportions is off.
And so, that's done on purpose to devalue that the power of that country and what is its potential. So if you don't think it is big, then you think it's harmless. But it's not harmless. It can be something to be reckoned with if people, you know, rally together on a, you know, positive plan and action.
So people, you got to do your research. Like, I'm sitting here in Gambia, and you may hear me talk about prices and the value of the dollar and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And then you try to take what you heard from me and go to Ghana, you're gonna be in for a rude awakening, because the dollar is a little bit weaker in Ghana than it is in Gambia. So you got to do the research about where you're going.
The sister said, practically speaking, if we buy a ticket today, where can we stay? What can we do? What we will have to show us the Gambian experience. Some of us just have a second home to visit frequently and not necessarily business or trade. That may be a different Thursday discussion, though. Mashallah.
Like, if you brought your ticket today, say like you ain't know nobody, whatever, you brought your ticket today and you came, right? Gambia is a tourism hotspot, so they have hotels and stuff there, and they're expensive. I don't even know how much a hotel costs. I don't know if it's expensive relative to American prices. I'm assuming it's probably cheaper, but it's expensive relative to Gambian prices. You know, what you pay for them hotels is going to be way more than what you would pay, you know, because they got Airbnbs and stuff out here too. So it's going to be way more expensive than if you knew someone. And I think that's an interesting thing I like to mention. I like to talk about. A lot of us, when we go to an African country, it's always good, better to know someone. And again, I said it before, we're Muslims, right? And so we have an advantage that a lot of people don't have. We interact with each other in the masjid. Somebody got to break the ice and, you know, communicate. You know, back in America, I'm hearing the echo from you. You know, in America, a lot of us, we say, you know, like my wife and I, we're from New York, right? But we say, where your people's from? Oh, my people's from North Carolina. Oh, my people's from South Carolina, whatever. In other words, most Americans, because of slavery and how we got there, most of us, regardless of where we live in the country, usually have some roots in the South somewhere of the country. Africa is the same way. So you may have the bigger cities, like, for example, Banjul, which is the capital of Gambia, and the surrounding neighborhoods. You may have people that live there, right? But they're not from there. they're from a village someplace that's out. And so if you don't know anybody, if you're not plugged in, you stuck in the city. And because, you know, the difference between here and America is that the infrastructure is so built up in the cities and all that kind of stuff. You don't need to be plugged in to land on your feet or what have you. I mean, you can go online and compare the cheapest hotel rates and, you know, get in where you fit in. It ain't like that here. You know, it's best to be plugged in. And I think that's the best way to do it. I don't think it's good to just, even though you can do it, and I'm not just talking about from a financial standpoint. I'm talking about from, because the title of the show is Building Bonds and Connecting, you know, family, you know, brotherhood and commerce and all that, whatever. I think if you come, and this is what a lot of the people that I'm talking about, a lot of them is coming like that. And they're stuck in the cities, and they're not really interacting with people. And it's just like they're not getting a full experience, even the ones that have been here for some time, because, you know, they're not plugged in with family.
I wanted to interject with that as far as, you know, this is not the first time I've heard that question, and since we're addressing it now, you really have to be connected with the community. That's just like you wouldn't just let somebody up in your house. You don't know nothing about them, their history, their family history, who they mama, their daddy. This day and time now, none of that familiarity is being stressed like before. It's just, oh, I just know you on Facebook. Okay, we cool, we besties. No, we're not besties. I don't know who you are. I have to develop a relationship because this relationship is a bond that extends beyond, you know, me and you. Because then you're going to be interacting with my family, with my children, with my family members. You know, it grows. So when I hear that question, well, who can I talk to? Who did you build a relationship? Where you come from? Who do you deal with that I can, you know, check your references? And we have to do that. We can't just let anybody up in our house. So even though we're talking about Gambia, we're talking about it in a sense that, okay, we are starting to build. Okay, we got a connection. You are over there now, right? We're having these shows and these topics discussed so that we can inform you guys, hey, you got to plug out there, but you got to build a relationship. We got to know who you are. We got to know what your intent. We got to know where you're trying to come from. Maybe you just want to come to visit, vacation. If that's all that you're trying to do and not trying to build, then you can just go to, you know, to those tourist areas. That's perfect for that. You don't need to do too much research for that, but you're not going to get a lot of it. Like the email was saying, you're not interacting with the locals. The locals that you're seeing, they work there. That's how they get their, you know, get their income. But you're not really experiencing anything. You understand? So you have to develop a relationship here in order to be established there. You understand? We want to know who you are. We want to know where you come from. And this is not directed at you personally, just in general. You're not just going to let anybody's, you know, person in your house.
You know, subhanAllah, like, and that's extremely important. Like here, family is everything. Like when I came here, I didn't just come here, right? Imam Sheikh Durrami, you know, I was introduced to him. He's from Gambia. And he came and taught the Risala at our masjid. That's how the relationship started. He runs a Quran school. I said, hey, I want to put my kids in that school. We came out here and visited. And that was the beginning of the relationship. And so now fast forward to right now, when I walk down the street, people know me. They know my children. You know, they ask my children about me when I'm not here. No, they ask me about my children. You know, we family. on top of the fact that I married someone from here, and so I'm family. You know what I mean? And family is everything here. In the West, we coming from a society where they try to deconstruct and destroy the family. And so a lot of times we don't realize how we actually are caught up in that matrix, and we try to operate and do business in lieu of the family. No, you should be plugged in so you can get it right. And so you can get the real deal.
Khalifa said more or less on the ground there in Africa and elsewhere where our youth is becoming dazzled by America's glittering gold and blind following this global culture. I personally seen this in my travels to South Africa and Kenya in the major cities. This is not seen in the smaller towns or villages. That's the key. Small towns, small villages. You answer the question yourself. It has to be contained. You're not going to get all of it out. You're not going to filter everything, but you're going to be able to contain the information that comes in and the information that goes out. Like I remember Imam Hussein always made a suggestion. Y'all need to move out in the outskirts or in the mountains somewhere when the Dajjal come. Because some people of the cities, they're going to be devoured by the Dajjal. They're going to be bedazzled by the Dajjal. And I was like, subhanAllah, but that's true. We here now living in the metropolitan cities, and we're so plugged in or so dependent on its, on the system. For instance, they can cut the water off. They can cut the electricity off. They can shut down all the stores. They already doing it. They just say you can come this time and this time, this amount of people. They're already restricting things. But say they just shut it down. How would you react? And I'm not talking to you specifically. I'm just saying in general how people are just so like, they have no clue. You got to be able to survive off the grid. If everything shut down, it shouldn't affect your status. As Muslims, for instance, you need water to make wudu, right? To cleanse yourself from ritual impurities and such, right? That's part of our, husulu fiqh, right? But if they cut all the water off, what then, right? Say they dried up all the lakes and the rivers and the oceans, right? Just imagine if they did that. Does that stop that Muslim from praying? Does that stop that Muslim from worshiping Allah properly? No. We got Tayammum. So it's like Islam has prepared us for the worst, because you're not living off man. You're living off on what Allah has promised you, and you living off on the ways and the actions of his messenger and prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you follow his footsteps, you cool. So we got to unplug, because when you're plugged in, all is lost. Oh my goodness, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. But why do we forget what Allah has promised us? Allah got our back, right? The shaitan promised us poverty. He scares us with poverty and hopelessness and, being poor and all types of stuff, death and all that stuff. Why are we as Muslims care about that? Why is that a concern? We already know what our Lord promised us. We need to be plugged into the book and the sunnah instead of being plugged into this matrix of a place. Once you do that, then you'll realize what life is really about. And it's more rich. It has more richness in it. A lot of us, we establish relationships through the internet. No human contact. You never be face to face. You don't be in the same area. That's not real. And that's a lot of us are missing that right now.
And out here, I mean, subhanAllah, even in the more populated city areas away from the villages, people work together. Ain't nobody gonna be next door to you and you hungry and none of that. Nah, like they share here. they share food, attire, you know, that green tea, that attire, all that.
That remind me of the projects. You know how people be borrowing salt and sugar and some milk or whatever. They were more of a village there.
It's the same way, but on a more real level. Subhanallah, I just lost my train of thought. Subhanallah.
Back to our topic. Until you realize, what about the brother had mentioned about commerce? How do we create that? Like, where do we start? How does that look realistically for us?
It all depends on what you're trying to do. There's no cookie cutter answer. And again, I keep saying there's so many parallels with Africa in the hood, right? When you outside of the hood in America, you can just go to the internet, whatever, right? Like if you want to get your car fixed, right? You can schedule an appointment at Pep Boys. But if you want your hood mechanic to fix it, you can't go on the internet to do that. You got to go there and find that dude. And so it's the same way here. If you try to do stuff remote control, the websites, I mean, even a government website here is out of date. You can't get no information like that. You got to talk to somebody on the ground. And so it's a people, person, social, touchy, feely, interacting type of space. If you're trying to be all sterile and safe and just do it from the comfort of your home, you're not going to get nowhere. You got to be here. You got to be connected. And you have to have real relationships with people. I want to know what, my eyes getting bad. Hold on. See if I can read it better without my glasses. I want to know what lessons Imam Naeem Abdullah and Samira Abdullah have learned from Liberia on repatriation, Hijra, sustainability, financial, economic lessons. For example, number one, how do we secure income without destabilizing the local economy? Number two, should we keep the US dollar, local or cryptocurrency as base for our economy? And why, number three, do we need to worry about Chinese investment? Why or why not? Okay, I'm done for now. And leave that up there so I won't forget. I don't know the history of Liberia too much, but I know generally speaking, and this is one reason why, like, number one, I'm not calling for everybody to come back here. Especially the ones that don't want to be here. We don't want you here. Stay right where you at. Stay right where you at, talking trash where you at. We don't need you here. Alhamdulillah, stay right there. I don't want to go back to Africa. Good. Stay right where you at, right? Alhamdulillah, right? For those of us who want to come here, right? I'm of the opinion that we don't need, for example, a whole bunch of us together from America coming, for example, to Gambia. That we set up our own neighborhood, just us all together. I'm personally against that. Because even though we have good intentions, we're going to bring some stuff with us from America that we want to leave over there in America. We don't want to bring all of America over here. We don't want that. I think we need to be more like, if you can imagine, just to give you some imagery, if you have some grits, right? And you sprinkle pepper in the grits, black pepper, right? Look at the grits as the people here and look at us as the pepper. Like, because there's certain cultural norms that I think we need to pick up on and we don't need to bring here. Like, things that we think is normal is completely unacceptable here. Disrespect to parents. I'm not even talking about the disbelievers. I'm just talking about even in Muslim homes. disrespect to parents, disrespect to adults. That's this constant, male versus female, female versus male beef we got going on. We don't need it. We need to, some of the stuff we need to kind of like filter out. And even linguistically, right? Like my children now, for example, they speak 3 languages: English, Mandinka, and Wolof, right? We all need to be like that. Every African you meet in America, if he was born and raised in Africa, he speaks at least 3 languages. At least 3, minimum, right? We need to be the same way. If we're all clumped up together over here and only talking to ourselves, we only going to learn English. I mean, we just going to learn the language that we have, because we feel comfortable talking like that, and we're going to only be talking to each other, and we're not going to talk to nobody else. No, 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 no. There's some good things that we can bring to the table, yes, but there's some things that we need to leave behind. And regardless of our good intentions, if we all come together clumped up and we come here and we all live exactly right next to each other, it ain't gonna happen. I remember when I went to Sudan and I got a copy of the Arabic language textbooks that they were using, and they had, how they have the exercises and they have the question and answers. And one of the question and answers was like, how can I learn Arabic better? And the answer was by not being around people that only speak your language and mix around. And this is the conversation is saying this all this in Arabic. And that's true. You need to immerse yourself, right? There's certain things like, see, for us in America as Muslims, the Quran and Sunnah teaches us to be a certain way, right? And depending on our implementation of the Quran and Sunnah, right, is how good we practice that. Because the society is not teaching us that. But here, they may not be able to quote the Quran or quote the Hadith, but it's already baked into their culture. So it's already understood. Like, you bet not do that. You bet not say that. Or you would just kind of like get ostracized. So that's kind of like to answer the first part of his question, as far as like Liberia, because like in Liberia, you had like basically the people who came back from America and set up shop beefing, and it was like a civil war against the people who was already there. And we don't want that. We don't want to bring no American mindset back there. We want to be able to filter out what good we can bring back to the table. This is why I'm not necessarily gung-ho about, how a lot of people that come here, they completely cut off their American ties and come here. And then they realize that, unless you have a specific skill, ain't like no job market, ain't no, where can I put in an application? Ain't no application, man. It's who you know. And ain't enough jobs for them. So what makes you think you're going to get it?
Exactly.
And so I'm of the opinion that we have to build bridges. Like you quoted Malcolm X. He said we need to build new bridges. And this is what we're trying to do between Masjid al-Mu'min and the community here and the different things we're trying to do. We're not cutting off America. We're just trying to build that bridge that connect us, right? And so secure income, even that terminology, and I know you probably already know, Farouk, you're probably asking for, the benefit of everyone else. For the most part, when you think about Africa, for the most part, you really need an entrepreneurial mindset. Coming here looking for a job, you're going to be, subhanAllah. I think the average pay for a person here in Gambia is like $50 a month, something like that. And so for us, that's like, hell no, right? So get that out of your mind. You got to be entrepreneurial in your thinking.
I want to interject Imam, because he ain't just asked you the question. He asked both of us.
Before you interject, if you look in my stat that where I asked people what we should talk about, I started posting a lot of pictures from your page when you was in Gambia. I did that to show people that, hey, I ain't the only one that be coming here. You coming here too. So, you know, so.
Yeah, I seen that. I saw that after the fact. As far as the income, like securing income, it's nothing to secure. You're bringing the skills. You bringing the income. Because actually, you're the one that's going to be employing, you know, the locals there. So it's good to bring skills over there, like construction. That's a plus. Entrepreneur as far as like running a grocery store, things like that, things that people need. They need, access to food and stuff. I think one thing here in America that we miss, that we need established here and over there, is gardens. Just like I started to say, and I forgot to mention this, if they unplug everything, close every Giant Eagle, Pathmark store, whatever store that's in your neighborhood, how you and your family going to eat? You can't go to Amazon and order online. They shut down the shipping. What do you eat? It's that serious. If we can't even maintain ourselves here in America, if they were to shut things down, how do you expect to go over there and survive? You're not. So you have to think outside the box. You have to connect with people, establish relationships. Because a lot of things that's happening, especially I have posted, questions, and alhamdulillah, one particular sister, alhamdulillah, Zaneida, I'll mention her and her, husband, alhamdulillah, Zachariah, alhamdulillah, may Allah bless them. She knew someone, and she gave me information on someone that knows, that has connections with shipping. Now, that sounds good, but that shipping is expensive. You talking about those big old, train containers. They could be 20 foot, 40 foot long. Those things, those are thousands of dollars to ship. You by yourself may not be able to fill those containers by yourself. So you need to hook up with other people. They're in need of a lot of stuff. Transportation, cars, trucks, household items like appliances. That takes money. Now, if you're not living near a port, that's more money because you got to go travel to these containers to load them up. So they got to have a network. You got to know somebody, because if you don't know nobody, you're going to be paying full price. And people that know each other is not paying full price. So you got to get a plug. You got to be sincere about these relationships, because it's all about the money. You don't
Again,
don't get it twisted.
Again, it's about the plug. I'm gonna give it. I love the correlation with the hood, right? This may be a bad example, but can you imagine someone says, you know what, selling drugs is a profitable business. Let me see if I can go online to see if I can find me a plug. Don't work like that. You gotta know someone, right? It's the same thing. Like, for example, I'll give you a good business that if anybody wants to deal with that through me, I think this will make some profit here. Shipping cars over here. You take a car that a used car and ship it over here. That car will sell for more over here than it would in America. So especially if you're a mechanic or you got a plug with a mechanic, and you can get a halfway decent car and fix it up, they'll buy a car that's not working. But if
even the car parts, just like you have pull and pay, establishments around, they make a whole lot of money. You don't have to have a full car to sell. The parts of the car makes more money than the car itself when it's all together. It's pound.
Yeah, so if any one of y'all want to get their car lot business going on, y'all can, selling Gambia. It's very proper, especially if you know you handy with cars or you got a mechanic in your pocket, and especially here the roads ain't good. So if you got SUVs like an old SUV or a newer SUV that can deal with these roads and these, you complain about potholes. They don't got potholes, they got bowl holes, right? Right? Like literally, your car gonna get stuck in there, especially in the rainy season, right? So if you're dealing with an SUV, if you got a plug on SUVs or whatever like that, you can ship them over here. We can do something, inshallah. So that's one example. So the keeping the U.S. dollar local, crypto, cash is king out here. Most people ain't using no debit cards and none of that stuff. People's dealing with cash.
And there's nothing to destabilize.
It's already destabilized.
It's nothing to destabilize. You'll be helping the economy. Like you have mentioned before, those foreigners like ourselves or the Chinese or whoever are given incentives to come to the country and start up businesses. They giving them money. Just like they send, when refugees come here to the United States or what have you, they give them money to set up shop just to come over here in America. Not the locals that are here. They don't just give, people here that's from here any money. You got to beg for it, sign up, welfare, what have you, embarrass yourself, degrade yourself. And I'm not talking against welfare. I'm not talking about it. I'm just saying what they put you through that they don't put other people through to get, the assistance. And so they do the same thing over there. So they are happy to have you over there. But you got to come up over there with a right mind. You can't be looking down and, and being condescending. These people, they have the greatest hospitality. We know from Islam. Hospitality is high on the list. What does Islam teach us about hospitality? You're supposed to treat that person better than yourself. Right? We don't even do that here in America. We don't even have the adab. We should reestablish that. Yes, we should do that. But over there, they don't have a problem with that. They treat you just like family. Like I saw somebody mention about polygyny. I'm kind of tired of talking about polygyny because it's like polygyny is polygyny. The only thing that I would say about polygyny, different from over here in America and then in Africa, is that the man is not the center of attention. In Africa, the man is secondary. The sisters bond more and they're together more, look out for each other more, treat each other like sisters. I mean, cooking for each other, washing their clothes. I mean, like really like looking out for one another. You're not going to see that here in America. But that makes for a more beautiful relationship. And it ain't about the polygyny. It's not even a thought. But when we talk about that polygyny, like it's like something special, it's nothing special. Just here in America, we just so used to being conditioned that any woman other than one is a side chick, is a mistress. It's a side piece. So when everybody come into a polygynous situation, even those that come into there have this mindset that I'm a side piece. I'm not really his wife. And we got to get out of that thinking. We're not side pieces. We're not side chicks. You are a wife, just like the one that was already there. So when we put numbers on things, these are things that we be devaluing ourselves. You can't be like that over there. And people are not going to have high regard for you if you don't have high regard for yourself. A lot of us have low self-esteem. We don't feel like we are up to par, or we have as much value, or I got to be somebody special, or I got to be from somewhere else. You have a lot of, have some black people like that. They rather be like, I'm from another place, or I'm half this or half that. It doesn't matter what you are. You understand? But they don't want to be black. Don't put black in the equation. Then it's like, condescending, you devaluing yourself when you put black into it. So that's why I put that little introduction about why we talk about black. Because we got to stop thinking down on ourselves. I used to think down on myself when I was coming up. I thought black was ugly. But then Allah showed me black was beautiful. And I started loving myself more. I don't want to be no other color. Not to say other colors are bad. I love me. I love my chocolate skin. Every time I look at my granddaughter, she looks just like a nice chocolate Hershey bar. It's so beautiful, her skin. We got to love who we are, the skin that we in, whatever color it is. But until then, people are going to treat you the way you treat yourself. Point blank. Mashallah.
I'm basically finished with that question, but while you find the next comment, I want to also add.
Okay.
Like if you're the type of person in America where you don't have a necessarily 9 to 5 where you have to be at work and punch a clock physically and all that kind of stuff, and you want to come out here, just by you living here and again trying to take away, leave some of your American mind back there. I ain't saying abandon everything, but leave some of it back there. Like, for example, you come here, you have your house, you have a maid cleaning your house and cooking your food, and you pay them not a lot of money, and they'll be happy for it. You could pay them more than what they used to getting here. And your house getting clean every day. You getting food cooked. You getting your clothes washed by hand. But you can come there with an American mindset and get you a washing machine in your house and get your clothes washed the way we normally do it back in America, but it ain't gonna come out as clean. But you're also putting somebody out of work. You could be giving that money to someone else instead of the electric company, right? So I recommend that if and when people come, a lot of things, do it the way they do it. You'll be putting money in their pocket just by living. That's not even including setting up a business or something like that. You got somebody else?
I'm looking through here. Let's see here.
Farouk said, don't nobody care about polygyny over there. They be like, man, exactly.
I don't mean to be mean and say I don't want to talk about it. It's just like a non-factor. We make it a non-factor here in America because of the negative connotation that is, connected to it. And really, we need to stop doing that because you start hating something that Allah loves or made permissible. That's part of our deen. It does something to you spiritually. You don't want to go before Allah and having like rancor and a distaste or something that he made permissible. That's your Lord. He didn't make any mistakes. But it's just we got to be careful with the mindset that we have with certain situations. Because it's a non-factor in other cultures and other countries. It's a non-factor. That's just because we were taught, especially as Black women, that we were nothing but a piece of meat. And then when we were slaves, our ancestors, we were treated like a piece of meat. Master used to rape us, impregnate us, and would enslave us and the children. And then if he really liked you, you lived in the house and he raped you, still having sex with his wife. And he having sex with you, and the wife hates you because he with both of y'all. So it's like psychologically, we've been and I hate when people say we need to forget about it. No, these are things that we need to discuss so we're bound to repeat it. And we're repeating it now. Polygyny equals having a halal side piece. That's not what that was. That was an honor given to women so that you don't have to be single. You can have a husband, a family, just like the next person. And it just happened to be a man. They are able to be capable of that. But if we not having that mindset, you're not going to be able to experience that. And some brothers, yes, they are no good. Yes, they are. Some of them don't know how to practice right. That's good. We already know that. But what Allah and his messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought to us is beautiful. It's perfect for us. We got to know that for ourselves. So it's just like you can't love if you don't love yourself. If you don't value yourself, it ain't going to happen. So when you realize that, there's something in me that I hate, I have a disdain that I got to get rid of so that I can receive love and then be able to, express it. You can't do that if what you don't have, in your possession. Let's see here. So far as trying to see here, I don't see anything else that we didn't connect with, talk about this evening. But alhamdulillah, I look forward to visiting again. It's been 3 years, going on 4 years. And I had on my page, like from 4 years ago, if y'all, those that are friends with me. And just a side note, I don't have friends with males. If you're not my relative or my teacher or a couple, like it can't just be a brother, I don't accept friend requests. So don't feel any ways. I just don't. That's out of respect for my husband. But if you look on my page, if it's public, I show like different aspects of my experience there. And one thing that I can say there is that there's so much potential here in this, in this country. You are conditioned that you go to school, get a degree, and you get a job, right? You're not really conditioned or trained to be independent. They train you to be dependent on someone else and build someone else's empire. And we think if we doing something, well, I'm going to school for this, that, so I could work at IBM. I know that's an old company, but and that's nothing wrong with that. But be in a position where you control something. In Africa, you have an opportunity to control. And when I say control, meaning that you can employ people. That is an honor to be able to employ and help families build and stay together and strengthen them and make them more, self-sustaining in their situations. And then it just grow. And you all from you giving them that opportunity, that's so much blessings that come back on you. SubhanAllah. So, yeah, but I don't see any more questions or anything like that or comments. Did anybody else have anything to say? Let me see here. Let me see. How practical is to work remotely from there? Other than the time difference switch, is the internet stable enough for that? I think it's possible. As far as like you got email, right? People communicate via email. You don't necessarily have to be on the phone, but you have apps for that. You got WhatsApp, you got email, you got Messenger, you got ways of communicating. So working remotely is actually a plus, because if you have a business or what have you that does not require you to be home, all you need is internet, you could be anywhere. And so it's good to have different streams of income, not just one. So you have a business over here, business over there. You got to build, relationships so people can hold down stuff while you're gone. You don't want just to stop because you're not there. There should be someone else taking up the slack for you while you're away. That's a part of being a leader, being a supervisor, being a manager, being a CEO, we got to think big. We cannot be thinking on the, lower levels, small levels. SubhanAllah. But Habibi, did you have anything? Well, I do see here, this was a question. The government stability factor. Many of us have seen African governments topple in our lifetime. We have seen massacres and pillaging of biblical proportions. What are the Muslims doing to maintain stability where you live? You want to answer that?
I think in Gambia, it's not one of those hot spots. I think primarily because There's no gold, diamonds, or cobalt or anything like that here. At least not that I know of. I think one of the major exports is like peanuts and fish. So a lot of those conflicts you're talking about, there's always resources under the ground that the colonial powers want to get. So they incite beef between the tribes, and and they keep the beef going. And if you understand the seerah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you know that the Aus and the Khazraj was always fighting each other in Medina before the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came. And that beef was incited by the other tribes that was living there, right? So the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came, brought peace, and united them. So you can kind of understand that just in general. Here, I think that's one good thing, that because there's not a lot of those high value minerals that could be found here. You don't have too much incentive for outsiders to come and start cooking up beef. Now here, like, the only people that have guns is the military. So the police and the citizens don't have guns. So the violence is like almost zero. I don't think I've even saw a fight here. And I'm not saying fights don't happen, but I've never seen a fight here. So it's very peaceful. And again, that's why we have to be careful about the type of people that's coming here. Because, some people talk about coming here, bringing that type of energy here. You don't need that here. Right? So, what is being done? Nothing needs to be done. But I'm not saying that there's no potential for something to jump off. But, this country was ruled by what the people here call a dictator for like two centuries. So the people now are just getting a breath of fresh air in their mind. And so they went from the yin, now they at the yang. I'm being real general and vague for a reason. Some of them are realizing that they got out of the frying pan and now they're into the fire. So that's another story. Malik asked, dual citizenship, is it easy there, Imam? No, dual citizenship is not easy. And they're actually in the process of redrafting the Constitution, and there are a lot of people on the ground trying to get that into the Constitution, where Africans from the diaspora can get citizenship here much faster. But you really don't need citizenship to live here and function. You can do all of that with residency. And it's a much shorter time period to do that. I forget the specifics. But yeah, you don't necessarily need citizenship to do what you want to do. I would prefer it, dual citizenship and all that kind of stuff. But it's a long time, and it's like a convoluted system. It's not really streamlined like that. And again, every African country is different. I'm just talking about Gambia. I believe some African countries, that if and when they give you citizenship, they want you to renounce your other citizenship. So you got to be careful about that. You got to make sure that the country that you go into, if they give you citizenship, will you have dual citizenship? Can you keep your American citizenship?
You sound like you down south, that old loud cricket. They making fun out as much a cricket. MashaAllah. So with that being said, I think we kind of addressed everything for this show. We're not trying to be exhaustive in, talking about Africa and the connections and building, relationships, but just enough so we can get to think. And this is not for everybody. This is not for everybody to participate in. I just want, everybody to realize this is just a discussion for those who are serious and want to. Everything isn't for everybody.
I'm gonna give you an example of what you're talking about, Samira, and I would like you to chime in. Remember, I had that sister who was a Facebook friend. I forgot her name.
You ain't got to mention her name, but go ahead.
She, random Facebook friend. I don't think I ever interacted with her previous to this. She reached out to me. Hey, I see that you be in Gambia. I like to, I forgot how she said it, but she basically would like to plug or whatever like that. I'm like, all right, okay. I gave her some basic information. Meanwhile, right after she made contact, a Gambian brother inboxed me. Hey, I know that you be in Gambia, alhamdulillah. There's a sister that I want to marry. So obviously they've been talking already before they reached out to me. And I'm like, all right, alhamdulillah, right? And so I don't have no problem facilitating that. Okay. And so I'm thinking I'm looking out for the sister, right? I'm thinking, okay, a lot of these Africans, they be wanting visas and green cards and stuff like that. I'm thinking I'm looking out for the sister. So right after they both made contact with me, maybe I forgot how much time passed, but I was in Gambia and Sheikh Drami was in Gambia. And so, the brother reached out to him. They knew each other. So we went, he actually had a shop in Serekunda. So we went, I met the brother in person, we hung out with him in the shop, took pictures and all that kind of stuff. If you dig somewhere in my profile, you see a picture of me, him, and Sheikh Drami in his shop, right? And so, Sheikh spoke for him, he's a good brother, alhamdulillah, he's all that, whatever. Like, all right, alhamdulillah. So, they pushing the issue by getting married, right? Then all of a sudden she I don't know, she had an episode, right? Sometimes people have episodes, right? Person, you ever have a person curse you out and like, whoa, we didn't even have an argument. Why are you even cursing me out? What I do to you, right? She had an episode. She blocked my wife. Whoa, we ain't never had no beef. Why are you blocking me? Then some little bit time went by. She blocked me. All right, see, all right. And then, then I think she tried to hand me off to an FBI handler. Weird, right? Some random dude inboxed me. I see, you're friends with sister such and such, heard you be going to Gambia. I'd like to get some more information for you. Just the way it was all worded, I was like, oh, hell no. No, right? I ain't even respond. You know how when somebody inbox you, but you ain't friends with them yet, and it say at the bottom, if you respond, they'll be able to see you. I didn't respond.
That's why I said, who are you? Where you come from? Right. I need to know who you are. Shoot, don't be just popping up.
So that happened, and meanwhile, she acted funny with us. So she got the plug already. She got enough information. Now she got the man. She don't need us no more. So she blocked us. And then she tried to put pressure on Sheikh Drami, right? And Sheikh Drami was like, no, I don't know. They thought we wasn't talking with each other, something like that. So somehow they got married without me or Sheikh Drami. She came over here, had a traditional wedding and everything. I forgot how I saw the pictures because she blocked me, but I saw the pictures and stuff, right? I was like, all right, she living her best life. Alhamdulillah, I still got her groove back. Alhamdulillah, right? Some months later, the brother inboxed me. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am. How you doing? Everything. Oh, man. my wife, he complained about his wife, the American wife, right? I was like, man, I don't know what to tell you. I don't deal with her. She blocked me before y'all got married. I don't know. I don't know her. I never met her in person. Right? He complained one time, and I gave him some advice or whatever. And then another time he complained, and then like he was like, is she all right? I was like, I don't know. She may be an agent. She may be crazy. I don't know. I don't know. Y'all cut us out. She cut us out. You still married her. That's your problem. I was your protection. You went around your protection. I thought I was initially trying to protect her from any possible bad intentions that he may have. But the sheikh put the stamp of approval on him. He said he's a good brother, whatever. And so, long story short, they're not married no more. He got a headache from dealing with her. I haven't spoke to him since. I gotta go visit him. When I do visit him, I'm gonna ask him, what's your opinion of American women after your experience? That's what I'm gonna ask him. And I'm like, no, I won't get offended. Just tell me the truth. I'm gonna ask him, tell me the truth. And so that's why I take the position that I have. I'm not gonna be everybody's plug, right? Even drug dealers, they don't just throw the plug away. Hey, if you want to buy weight for me, catch me on eBay. No, man, somebody gotta know you, man. And so what we're dealing with is more precious, more important than drugs or any type of illegal activity. We're dealing with our reputations. We're dealing with family. We're dealing with all that kind of stuff. So that's. Sometimes people be inboxing me and just, I need all the information. Yo, I don't even know you. You don't even have no proper adapt to properly introduce yourself, man. I don't even know you, man.
Oh, I forgot. There was a question, Zaynab Black, about vaccinations. Would that be recommended for malaria? I know that there was, what was that one that was recommended? Yellow fever. But the malaria. Yeah, malaria. Yeah, you ain't got to worry about that. It ain't like serious like that. Because it's no different from being over here, really. You know what I mean? They tell you got to do all this, that, and the other, take all these vaccinations. You end up doing it. Take the flu shot. Get the flu, right? I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving no recommendations, but I'm just saying from my experience, personal experience, just be, whatever you think is good for you, Yeah.
And they be hyping stuff up. When you go on in the Department of State websites and they tell you, watch out for this, make sure you get that, whatever. They be hyping stuff up, man. I'm not going to try to get too specific, but do what makes your heart feel good. If you feel like you need to do all that, then fuck it. Go ahead, do it.
Exactly. So, mashallah. So, with that being said, if there aren't any more comments, questions, we're going to wind it down. As you can see, the ticker on the bottom of the screen is soliciting donations for Masjid al-Mu'min. Masjid al-Mu'min is a community here in Pittsburgh, if you don't know. And we are self-funded, meaning we don't get any grants. This is all funded from people just like you. And we ask that you continue to support this establishment, this community, because you get blessings out of it. Even if you never visit there, there's barakah in that. Allah will bless you as if you walked into the masjid and joined us. And we welcome you, those who are connected with us. So it's winter time now. It snowed. It's freezing. We got to put the heat on.
It's not winter time. It's the dry season.
I'll tell about that. Here it's a winter time.
And it's 90 degrees every day, and I'm living my best life. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen.
So we have to pay the gas bill, light bill, water bills. Those still need to be taken care of. So whatever you can donate, doesn't matter the amount. We thank you for it. We ask you for your du'as for us, because we're trying to build. Okay, we trying to build, and we need serious, like-minded, individuals to either join us or just support, however you are able to, at your capacity, at your level, mashallah. So if there's,
I want to add before you
close out,
I would like, just like drop a little seed. A lot of times you meet different folks, the mother folks that have been to Africa, and they always doing missionary work. They be, opening up schools and opening up orphanages and all that kind of stuff. We're doing the same type thing. And I didn't stutter. We are doing the same type of thing over here. I'm not giving any specific details yet, but like when missionaries come, and they're doing their missionary work, they're on a mission. We on a mission too. And so, doing that type of work, you don't know how much benefit it is to the people out here and how much the people will appreciate it. I'm gonna give you an example. I visited another Quran school the other day, and alhamdulillah, I was impressed with what I saw. But at the same time, I was thinking, I was like, aesthetically, the way it looked, with American standards, I was like, in my mind, I'm like, it's good for them. But for a lot of our people back at home in America would see that, like, nah. And so this is kind of like what I was alluding to earlier. We have the ability to build our own institutions out here like that and have people from here go to school with us, and they would love it. They would love it, and employ teachers here to teach the Quran. And we can have, for example, our people teaching, for example, a trade or a skill. And there's a lot of different ways we can go with that. I'm being a little bit vague there. You hear crickets just like you hear down south, and that's what you hear. You hear crickets. Alhamdulillah. And subhanAllah, the schools here, it ain't like, for example, America. Certain age, you got to go to school or kindergarten. Then, nah. A lot of the schools are, I guess, what you would call semi-private here. Or I might just say private. You have a wide variety on what type of school you want to send your child to. And I think it's safe to say most, if not all, or most of them are private. And so there's a small, really nominal fee that you would pay. And you can have your child, learning all Quran, or Quran in Arabic, or Quran and other regular subjects, or any mixture, depending on what type of school that you send your child to. My daughter's 3 years old and some changes. She's learning Alif Ba Ta. And they thought she was 6 years old. That's like here, it ain't like America. Oh, you not old enough. You can't come to this type of school. No, they look at you. Okay, you ready? Okay, boom. Oh, you not ready? Oh, you can wait a little bit. But if you're ready, here, go. So, alhamdulillah. Do the children need this and desks and chalkboards and books? All of these schools are kind of lacking. Not say all, but you know, there's a lot of people, Muslims and non-Muslims, here that got schools and stuff like this. And again, when it comes to that kind of stuff, watch out. That's why, like, if you know us, deal with us. All right. So we're gonna be making some more specific announcements, but alhamdulillah. Touch on that, Iman. What is public education like there? At what grade is free, or is it not? I think they do have some public schools here, but I'm not too sure about that. Most of the people I know, the schools they send their children from, they paying something for it. And like you see, you know, and that's type of weird, that's almost like a weird thing about it. It's almost like you got like the Western system and the Islamic system operating at the same time. Like you got some schools, because this used to be a British colony. So you got some schools that, you know, they operate, they try to, you know, make people kind of like, you know, British, right? And so, you know, they operate, you know, Monday through Friday, whatever like that. But then you see some schools, they operate Saturday through Wednesday. They like their weekend is Thursday and Friday. You understand? So it's not like I said, it's not like this or that, like in America. You know, kindergarten starts at 5 years old, in first grade. It ain't like that. Sabir said, how is the mail service? Ain't no mail service. Ain't no addresses to mail nothing to. Literally, I'm not trying to be funny. If you want to mail something, they have about a handful of the equivalent of what we have post office boxes. They have a handful of those in the country, and you can go there and purchase you a box and get mail sent to that box. But as far as mail delivery to your house, it ain't happening. Your house don't even have an address on it. We're not speaking about that, Farouk. and being that I answered like that, that is an answer.
All right. Mashallah.
Do I have one? If you mean a post office box, no.
Mashallah. We looking forward to doing things, you know, building up. And this is not to separate. You know, you got people that's here in America, like, why are you going over there or whatever? You need to you got to be vast. Allah made this earth vast. He didn't just say stay in one place. And sometimes it's good to be able to travel. You know, during the time of the Prophet and the Sahabas and the, you know, Tabi'een, and they used to travel. For knowledge, they used to travel for months. We think it's you just go out your door, take the bus, take the, you know, train, take a car ride, go to school. Sometimes you got to go places. You got to leave the place altogether, but you got to be, you know, prepared for that. One of those things, a hungry man, I just got my passport after all these years. Definitely, you got to have your passport. That's like just as important to have a social security card and an ID. You got to have one.
Yeah. She said, last one, is it better to fly into Senegal or straight to Gambia? I've done both before. And in my opinion, it's better to fly straight into Gambia. There's a lot more direct flights going into Senegal, but that drive from Gambia, or, you know, between Gambia and Senegal, you got to go over a ferry and checkpoints, and
it's a whole lot. It's like a 6-hour drive or something from Senegal to Gambia.
I fell asleep. It was longer than that, but I think
Wow.
I think if it was like American roads, I honestly think it will be about 3 or 4 hours, maybe less. I'm not sure if it was American roads, but I fell asleep. I said when I did it, I said I'm gonna keep track of the time. It was so long, I just said forget it, man.
Yeah,
I think it took
mashallah.
like 12 hours.
Dang, longer than that?
Yeah, I don't remember.
He said, I plan on getting them for my children 18 and 17. Yes, you definitely want to do that. Younger children, babies. You get them when they babies. And then
And
after
that's,
a couple of years, you renew it because, they have grown. If you have children, get that child support. But I do have to add this here. If you're on child support, pay your child support. That's the thing that they revoke. Be on your child support.
and we building on both sides of the Atlantic. Most people that talk about Africa or against Africa, it's like either all Africa, no America, or all America, no Africa. That is not our thinking. That is not our thinking. Like if that was my thinking, I would step down as Imam of Masjid Bookman and be over here. But it's not that. We trying to give our people options. Some of the things that we doing at Masjid Bookman, we trying to do over here, and vice versa. So just like for example, like I'm from New York. For a lot of my childhood during the summertime, my parents would send me down south. To get in touch with my roots and spend time with my grandmother and to be in the country and feel the fresh air and all that kind of stuff. And so, sort of, kind of, it's almost like the same thing. For some of us, it's better to be in the country, meaning Africa, right? We don't need to be in the city all the time, right? You may have a child that you want to send here. If you have people that you could trust here already doing that, alhamdulillah. And if that's something you want to do, we can facilitate that. But again, it's best to do it as young as possible.
Last question. The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ about not take a plague into a different place. My worry is that it's not there as much as it is here. How do you reconcile that?
The so-called plague already entered the whole country. I mean, the whole world is already here, there, everywhere.
Yeah, there ain't no place to hide.
like to me, even when this thing first started happening, nobody quarantined. Like they let it come into America. They let it come in all of these different places. So I don't even see how they would how Muslims would try to apply the hadith. If you're in the land and a plague breaks out, don't leave it. Or if you're not in the land, don't enter it. It had already entered it. I mean,
Subhanallah. Burning, mashallah. Alhamdulillah. Well, this was an interesting conversation. Mashallah. We got to think beyond ourselves. What are we leaving our children? What legacy? What infrastructure? What are we leaving? What are we leaving for them? We got to think that deep, whether here in America or over there. You have to leave something for them. It's wajib to do that. It's not an option. It's wajib. You got to leave them knowledge. You got to leave them, establishments, buildings. You have to leave them that, or direct them in the manner where they can learn that and build that. Just like a man is entrusted with the knowledge that his family learns, you got to be the same way. It's not an option. It's wajib. It's sinful if you're not thinking this way. It's on that level. SubhanAllah.
Now, alhamdulillah, Latfe, you know, is no patience. We want you to ask questions. You're doing what we want you to do. You engaging us. Alhamdulillah. We didn't come, it wasn't our intention to come here and give y'all, you know, a bunch of lectures and speeches. We wanted the questions and the dialogue. Alhamdulillah. Can you read Farouk's comments?
I'm talking to myself. Y'all don't even hear. He said, I want to use the US dollar and build over there, but I worry about the volatility of the global currency changing from the dollar. In your opinion, is Bitcoin cryptocurrency halal? I know we differ in fiqh.
I was about, you just reminded me of your older comment. Because when you mentioned going to Sudan, you know, just imagine, you know, my name is Shug. You know, if you tired of practicing the fiqh, always got to put your right hand over your left. Always got to do two taslims. Come on over to Malik. Tired of saying I mean out loud.
Look, tired of I mean all in the videos.
Yeah, you tired of email I mean all in the videos, all in the post-project reflections, all in the scattered thoughts.
It was all love. It was all love. Mashallah, may Allah bless you.
Tired of saying the Bismillah before the Fatiha. Come on over to Malik.
Oh, subhanallah.
What was the question again?
He said about using, he want to use his dollars, but he's, he's afraid of, the climate, the global climate regarding currency. Is crypto, is that a halal means or not? Using that?
I don't know anything about cryptocurrency, so I can't answer the fiqh part of that. But as far as here on the ground in Gambia, like nobody think about all that. Cash. So your conversion or your bringing your dollars to convert to their local cash, that's what's happening on the ground.
Every $1, no, every like they have $1 right? So every dollar is converted. No, every $100 is like 50 cents. $1 rather, right? Is 50 cents of our dollar. $1.
That's confusing. $1 is 50 of their dollars.
Right, 50 of their dollars. Right. So two of their dollars is one of our dollars, right?
No.
Not you said 50 cents. So that
no,
means
I didn't. No, I didn't.
You said
I said one of our American dollars is 50 of their dollars.
Okay, 50 of their dollars. So $100 is $1. Is $1. To make $100 is $1. You know what?
I just said one of our dollars is equal to 50 of their dollars.
$50 times 2 is $100, right?
Yes.
Can you count?
Which will make $2.
Oh yeah. You're right. I'm sorry, y'all. You're right. Don't be smacking me on. Don't be embarrassing me like that. What's wrong with you?
So, and just to give you an idea about that, a haircut over here costs $35, maybe $50 these times. So you basically pay $1 or less for a haircut.
I know he all could do that because he far away. That's right. He wouldn't do that. Like he said, his eye was messed up, right? Remember he was complaining the other week about his face all messed up, eye messed up, pain on one side because I beat him up.
So you admit it. Everybody bear witness. I got you. You finally admit it.
So you can't even get a haircut like that here in America. You're not going to pay less than what, $25 for adult male haircut, right? Including the beard. It's a pound.
Yeah.
Mashallah. So we're going to close it out the 2 hours. Mashallah. We'll be back, inshallah, next week.
I don't know what you're complaining for. It's 1:30 a.m. out here. You could even come and get to me. Every other time you want to talk now, you gonna close it out. I'm the one. Look where I'm at.
I'm tired. I had a long day. Mashallah. I want to thank everyone for joining us, for participating. We really appreciate it. You know, we're just not bumping our gums. We really trying to build new bridges, you know, the way that Allah, will allow us to. And we are put in such a unique situation. Imagine before COVID, we were so busy living our lives, doing things. We weren't even thinking about building, right? We were just out there just living. And here it is. We are forced to change our way of thinking and forced to, look at our future. We don't know what the future. We didn't know what the future was before, but really now we don't know what the future looks like for us. So we got to be proactive and do something that's going to be meaningful, when we do it. So that's what I want to leave, with all of us, be purposeful in your thinking and your actions right now. Our children need us more than ever because they only know what they see. They only know that, mashallah. So with that, do you have anything to say for real? My beloved Habibi.
I'm reading these comments.
Okay, mashallah.
Idris said, do you have a bank where you can open a bank account? Yes, you can open a bank account here. They have several banks.
It's not like Tarzan. Not Tarzan. Was it Tarzan? Like, they're not as developed, but they're developed. You understand? They're not wearing like grass skirts and the ladies' boobies are out. It's not at that level. It's not as cosmopolitan like other places, like South Africa.
The word is cosmopolitan.
Cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
I said cosmopolitan.
You didn't say that.
I did.
You said cosmopolitan.
Cosmopolitan. Leave me alone now. Not like other places. And some people may not like Gambia. It's too rough. You might want it to be more spiffy, more modern, more, and everything is not for everybody. So, once you've gone to a place, you got to experience first to say this is not for me or not. But you know yourself. But I would, suggest those who are serious about building and not bringing no nigga stuff with them, visit one time, at least a month. You got to give at least a month just a visit. You got to be able to unwind after you did your trip, because your trip is going to be long. It's at least going to be 2 days. So after you didn't come, you're going to want to rest. And then you get out and experience, the life with the locals and just absorb their experiences and, culture and see if that's something for you. You may say, well, this looks like somewhere I want to invest. I don't want to live here, but I will invest here. You may come up to that conclusion, mashallah. Allah will see, what is good for you in your situation. We'll see what fits for you. Mashallah. So, alhamdulillah. Anything else you want to talk about, Imam?
Brothers coming through all late. Brother Wahid.
Walaikum salam to every cat too.
2 hours and 10 minutes into the program, coming in here giving us a lesson.
Oh, mashallah, mashallah.
I seen Anissa sneak in here earlier too.
She creeping up in here. Mashallah. With that being said, may Allah bless you all. Please keep us in your du'as. Please keep the ummah in your du'as. Make dua that Allah, strengthen the believers and strengthen, make Islam an example, a positive example for those who are seeking to be, to be influenced in the right way. People want they want a difference in their life, and they're not finding it. So let's be that example. Let's be where we are able to help mankind. And if they don't take the deen, at least they will learn how to respect it, and they'll learn how to work with us and, live, fairly peaceful. When I say fairly peaceful, I'm not talking about something crazy, but just living in the same vicinity of one another out of respect. But I thank my co-host. Thank you for joining us, Habibi. Yo, the internet wasn't janky that much today. You did freeze up, but I closed my my screens this time. That's why I didn't freeze this time. So I learned from last week. That was crazy. But until next week, inshallah, we'll come back with another episode of the Half Your Deen Show with myself, Samira, my co-host, Imam Naeem. The Cash App is in the in that scroll. Let me put it in the comments. Hold on. This is for Masjid Al Mu'min. We just soliciting funds for Masjid Al Mu'min.
She's asking for the Half Your Deen Show Cash App, not Masjid Al Mu'min.
Well, no, we don't have a Cash App. It can go to the masjid.
Okay. Just put what it's for. If it's not for the masjid, if it's for Half Your Deen Show, put that there.
Right. And we'll make sure it gets where it's supposed to be, inshallah.
She said, oops, I just seen the hashtag. Okay.
Okay, see? Mashallah. I'll put it in the comments anyway for anybody else that may want to. And our Cash App, we have a logo. It's green and white. It has a logo. So if you put Masjid Mu'min, that's not us. If you put Mu'min Masjid, no, that's not us. You gotta show Masjid Al Mu'min logo. Because you got some trifling, you got some child. They'll be trying to swipe that money any way they can. And it'll be going to us. And people be thinking they're supporting the masjid, the community, and it ain't even come to us. So make sure it says Masjid Al Mu'min, $ Masjid Al Mu'min. Or make a payment through PayPal to Masjid Mu'min. Alhamdulillah. So we're going to get off of here.
Hey, Wahid, don't be coming here asking all type of questions that we answered 2 hours ago.
Yep, you're gonna have to do a rewind. Oh, mashallah. Look. Farouk, he's so crazy. With that being said, please watch the replay of this show if you have patience for that. Yep, the two M's. Yep, that's us, the 2 M's, mashallah. And say what it's for. Okay, so we'll make sure that it goes on. Yep, on the logo. Yes, it's green and white. Yep, that's it, mashallah. And I saw your message, inshallah. I'll read the DM, inshallah. That's what I was really saying all late. They're gonna have the whole conversation. Y'all by yourself. I'm out. I'm tired. Imam is like 1 a.m. for him. I know he ready to go to bed. It's almost like Fajr for him.
and I gotta do the clip out today.
So with that being said, y'all take care and mashallah. Mashallah. With that being said, y'all so funny, mashallah. We appreciate you. We love y'all, mashallah. Subhanak Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik wal asra innal insana lafi khusra illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Al-Fatiha. All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone.